NACT week 1 just ended and the standings are in, the fraud alerts are out, and the contenders are being questioned right now. A lot has happened and we're here to give you the recap. We're here to break down, at least in my opinion, some of the hot topics, some of the big points, and some of the things that happened this week. Now, let's get right to it. The first major thing I think we have to cover is BTK takes the big loss. They take a big loss day 1, week 1, and that's huge for them. Now, it's not against a, how would you say, weaker team in the top 8 or a lower tier team in the top 8. It is against AREA77, but I don't think anyone expected it. A lot of people feel like BTK's roster was going to come in very, very strong. They felt like AREA77, with some of their roster changes, may not be top contenders, but BTK either way doesn't just lose, but gets swept 2-0. Now, game one, they lost bad. I felt like AREA77 was in complete control of that game. In game 2, to make things even worse, they start off the game with a lead, and then AREA77 rips it away from them and still takes the dub. After that, day 2, BTK does at least come back and secure a win, but it's a win against LEGACI, a team that just got in through 3rd round of qualifiers in the number 8 slot. I mean, by the skin of their teeth, were just able to make it in. So BTK, yes, they redeemed themselves in day 2, but is it true redemption? Does this mean that BTK is out of hot water yet? I still think that BTK needs to prove that they are going to be contenders for the throne, that they are going to be contenders to make it to grand finals, and they still have a couple teams in their way to do that. The win against LEGACI is good, but I don't think it really means a whole lot after the loss to AREA77. And I think that's the question on our minds. Was BTK kind of not playing their best? They have been known to have a rough beginning season in NACT. This isn't the first time they've taken a loss on day 1 or 2. It normally takes them a little bit of time to get their grips. So is that what's going on here, or is it something more? I want to ask you guys what you think. Make sure you let us know down in the comments. Now, speaking of LEGACI, that's going to be our next topic. LEGACI, AE, you know, former AE Riles, Assassin Riles, has not had a good weekend. They went 0-2, 0-2 both days. The real disappointing thing is Riles has, you know, whether it's his team or whether it's him, has not been performing on these objectives. They got 1 out of 15 turtles. 1 out of 15 turtles, a total of 4 games, and LEGACI was only to get 1 neutral objective, and that speaks volumes. So whether it's the laning phase that is the problem, whether it is the way they're fighting around the turtle and lord pits, whether they're just losing out in the early game and not able to compete for the rest of it, there is definitely a problem happening in LEGACI, and they need to find a solution quick. Their first loss was up against DA, and their second loss was up against BTK, so at least it was to larger teams, but I feel like they could have at least competed maybe slightly better, you know, kind of given a bit more of a challenge. Are they just a lower tier team, or do they have a chance to maybe at least kind of get to the mid side? At this point, it's only week 1, but still, I don't think a lot of people have eyes on them to be a top 3 or top 4 performer. After that, I think one of the big things we got to look at is Night Horde beating Bloodhounds. Now, these are 2 teams that are starting to create names for themselves. These are 2 teams that now have got back-to-back occurrences in NACT top 8, have been to the regular season, have been able to make it to the regular season very cleanly. And a lot of people are wondering, who's the better out of these 2 teams? Can one of these 2 teams kind of break the ice and catapult themselves into the glory of, you know, top 2, top 3? Are they contenders to be grand finalists? And all of us are wondering which one of these 2 teams could do that. Well, today or yesterday, Night Horde shows that they are the ones who want to try, because they 2-0 Bloodhounds, and I mean they 2-0 Bloodhounds cleanly. They felt in control of those games throughout the whole time. Now, speaking of contenders, I think one of the real contenders we have to talk about, one of the real realities we have to talk about here, is AREA77. Now, AREA77 starts off day one sweeping BTK, as we talked about earlier, and doing a very clean job at it. But that's not the real crazy thing here. That's not the thing that has us all shook to our core with AREA77. They come in on day two, and though they lost, though they got swept by GG, game one of GG versus AREA77 was probably one of the most entertaining games of the whole week. For a minute there, it felt like AREA77 had that game. For a minute there, they did have that game, but even though it was one of the most entertaining, it was also home to one of the biggest throws in week one. AREA77 has the game. All they had to do was go back and take the Lord. But what do? They try to hit it home, get onto the crystal. All of their health bars are way too low, and GG capitalizes on it. And that's the difference between a team like GG and some of the others. But the reality is, if AREA77 could just tighten up some of those small mistakes, they could possibly be contenders. They could possibly be a grand finals team. And boy, has AREA77 come a long way, and this season could be their season to show out. The fans are growing for them. The people that have known them for a long time are starting to like them. The people that are just starting to know them are liking them even more. I mean, it's definitely a season for AREA77 if we just look at this starting, and I hope that it does continue for them. Let me know what you guys think. Are they contenders or not? Can AREA77 pull some magic off this season? Speaking of the GG and AREA77 game, Fwydchickn really got to show off. Now, Fwydchickn is the new added-on player to the roster of GG. And he has just been playing so well. In game one, he had a Ruby, went the first half of the game completely deathless, getting the first 3 kills for GG. And then in game two, he gets to show off the Paquito, and this man was just doing Paquito things. From being aggressive to setting up ambushes, able to catch the Claude off guard. I mean, just pulling off kills, and really just applies a new type of pressure to GG, applies a new type of pressure to all teams wanting to face GG, because before it was always just kind of the mid trio. I felt, yes, Zia was aggressive, Mimilo honestly in my opinion just kind of fit in. This time, now I feel like even if the mid trio falls off, Fwydchickn could still carry the team. And those are some things we're gonna have to look at as the future moves forward of NACT. The last topic we have to cover today, though, the last thing, at least on my mind, I don't know if it's on your guys' mind, but it is definitely on mine. It is Fiends. Now, Fiends are the dark horse right now, whether you like it or not, and maybe you don't agree, and feel free to disagree if you want, but we had no clue who these people were. Yes, we know some of the players, but no one expected much from them. They just slipped in through the qualifiers in the 7 slot, only a point or two above Legacy. I think a lot of us expected them to just be a bottom rate team here. They come in day one getting a huge win against Bloodhounds, and then in day two they go up against Devious Activity. And if you missed that game, let me make something clear. It was a great best of 3. And a lot of us believe DA to be possibly one of the strongest teams. A lot of us think they are contenders for grand finalists, possibly, right up there with BTK, GG, and AREA77. And Fiends comes in game one and beats DA. After just coming off of a win against Bloodhounds in day one, they come in on game one of day two and beat DA, and that is huge. And then even in game two and game three, they put up a good fight. Kohari, who I am now calling Kohari the Brave, on the carry. A lot of people, we question it. We may have been, he's throwing, it might have been his fault, but either way, he was willing to go for the 50-50 and was showing some great mechanics. And if Fiends can tighten things up a little bit, are they going to be contenders? I don't want to say it just yet. It's still just week one, but if they can keep this on a roll, is this a team we have to start watching out for? And for God's sake, I hope that they keep the roster. I hope that they keep the names, because just after week one, it is promising, and I think they could be a team that we could see in the future of NACT. The excitement they brought in day two of week one was something you don't get to see very often. So let me know what you guys think. Let me know if there's any big things about all these teams that maybe we should watch watch out for in the future to come. And let me know if you thought week 1 was as exciting as I did. Thank you guys. Make sure you hit the like button, subscribe. We'll see you guys next time.